Okay, at this time, we're gonna skip down to number 3, 6:15, we're gonna open up the bids, and we have only one bid from Box Environment on the gas buoy at the Highway Department. And total bid price is $13,600 to provide and install a new fuel management system at the town of Alexandria Highway Department. Can I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, we accept it.
Motion made by Elson, seconded by Brent to accept the bid from Box Incorporated for $13,600 to install the new fuel management system at the Highway Department. All in favor?
Yes.
All opposed? Motion passed. To go back up to number 1, I'd like to introduce local law number 1, and that's local law number 2 for the year 2012. And that's to introduce a 2% tax cap, in case we have to raise it this fall when we're doing the budget.
We also need to schedule a public hearing, Dan.
We need to schedule a public hearing at the next meeting in August for this. At this time, we're just introducing the local law.
We want a motion for the public hearing?
Yeah.
Can I have a motion for the public hearing?
I'll do so.
Local law number 2. Motion made by Ellison, seconded by Doug. All in favor?
Yep.
All opposed? Motion passed. At this time, I'm looking for a motion to open up the public hearing on the subdivision law. Can I have a motion from the board?
I'll make that, Ellen.
Motion by Jim, second by Brent, to open up the public hearing on the subdivision law for the town of Alexandria. As of no comments from the floor at this time, I'd like to keep the public hearing open for,
Yeah, you got a copy.
yeah.
Could you
Yes.
just clarify the 2% tax cap? I mean, I'm not, are you setting a 2% tax cap?
No, we're doing it to override the 2%
You're
tax.
overriding the 2% tax cap?
Right. It's just to protect the town in case we have to
need to.
when we come at budget time.
Okay, and if you override the 2% tax cap already, I mean, budget time isn't until spring.
But, no, it's fall.
Budget time's in September.
So, I mean, recently we've seen a couple low snow years where there should have been surplus money in some of the budgets because of.
We don't know yet what we
Excuse me,
got.
This is
It
so we can
authorizes the
override.
board to override the tax cap.
We may not
Doesn't mean they have
override it.
to.
We may say only raise the taxes 1%. We're not even raise them. But we may raise them 10% if we have to.
But this is just to protect the town in case they have to.
Can't towns do the same process at a time when they see that they
We have
need
to
to
start
raise
it
it?
now.
We'll start working on the budget next month to have it ready
You
for
have a certain
November.
time to put this in the local law, so you can do it. You just can't do it 2 days before the budget.
And we didn't do it last fall and it caused a problem, right, Joe?
Yeah, it causes
If you go
problems.
over it now, you gotta go to what,
Caused a
Attorney
large
General?
problem.
You go over if you don't adopt the override and you exceed the 2%, you run into some procedural problems which require a certain escrow fund to be established, and it's complicated.
There's quite a bit in the paper last fall about the communities that didn't override it,
Yeah.
and they were over the 2%. And it's a matter of, it's a state issue, it's a state law that we're supposed to follow.
State
What they-
law
what
that
they
you
do
have to
for now,
follow,
then I
but you
don't
can,
know.
but you can override it by a majority vote of this board. It's a 3/5 requirement, which is a majority. And all this legislation does is authorize the board, if they have to exceed the 2% during budget time. Otherwise, they're constrained to that 2%.
Budget still has to go to public hearing, everything has to go to the public, everything, process is still the same.
Okay.
Got it?
I got it now.
Good.
I
Okay,
didn't before.
Okay,
That's why I
So-
asked the question.
I'd like to have a motion from the board to keep the public hearing open on the subdivision law for another 30 days.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Doug to keep it open. Second by Jim Duran. All in favor?
Yep.
All opposed? Motion passed. Number 4, Ambit Energy, I'm gonna give that to Jim.
I think Jim is here. I looked into that, researched it a little bit. It seems like a good way to go. There's, Jim can explain it better, but you get guaranteed savings right out of the gate, and there's no contract, so it seems like it's a win-win, and we can't really get hurt too bad on it. And I'd like to see if we can get the town stuff over to it. So, what do we gotta do? Could we just,
You really gotta take a look at your procurement policy and follow that. If you're interested in going with an alternative provider, you need to follow your procurement policy.
okay. Then I think we should do that. Now,
Can
we're
I vote on this if I'm getting it?
If you're getting it personally,
Yeah. Is there conflict of interest on me voting for this?
well, are you a representative or anything, or you just?
Well, I'm getting a discount.
I mean,
I don't want-
you
you
have
know what
Ambit
I'm s-
Energy is what you're saying?
Yeah.
But you're not a rep or anything?
No.
Okay. Yeah, just because you receive maybe receiving the same service doesn't conflict you out.
okay. Now, Joe, the procurement policy,
Yeah.
I assume that we're with National Grid right now.
And we get our, power is through US Gas and Electric. Is who supplies us, that's who we're buying it through right now.
So if we have, like, say, Ambit comes in and they said, we have guaranteed savings, no contract, we still have to,
You've gotta follow your procurement policy and at least, put it out for, investigate alternative suppliers or whatever Ambit does.
so I think there's like 30-some suppliers, we have to like,
Get 3.
get 3?
Yeah, get 3
Okay.
quotes and,
I think we should do
yeah.
that.
Now,
We-
on our policy, our procurement policy, Joe, it has some numbers in there for the different levels of what we have to acquire.
Right.
How do we look at the power situation, per month, per year, per what?
Well, you look at what this particular part of your power bill is. I mean, this isn't the
Supply,
whole
yeah.
thing. The
Yeah.
supply piece, on an annual basis,
Right.
okay?
On an annual basis?
Right.
Yeah.
And if it's within the bidding threshold, then you just simply need to secure the quotes.
Yep.
Jim, you wanna bring back 3 quotes for the next meeting?
Sure.
Okay, we'll keep that open. Right now, I need a board resolution to have Cindy, Nova Scotia, to submit the small city block grant on behalf of the town. And that's, we'll finalize that on Friday, and that has to be into the state on the 16th of July. And that's a $250,000 Main Street grant that we've been working on, the Economic Development Committee's been working on for the last 3 months. So I need a board approval to pass this resolution.
Need a motion or what?
Yeah, I
I'll
need a
make a
motion.
motion that we have Cindy do it.
I'll second it, Ellen.
Okay, motion made by Brent, seconded by Jim. Have Cindy send in, submit the small city block grant on behalf of the town. All in favor?
Yeah.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, there was some pictures in your packet on the parking on Dingman Point Road. And, most of the time that occurs on the weekends, but as you can see in your, with the pictures, you can see where the car and the boat trailer are sitting right out in the lane, and there's cars on the other side of the road. And it's been brought to my attention that, one of these times, we're not gonna be able to get a piece of fire equipment or an ambulance down through there. And it's not only in that section of the road, but, shows some other sections.
What do we do?
I don't know. David, do you know how we could handle that problem by chance?
Yeah, get law enforcement out there, asked to do something for a change. We've run this problem in several roads, so we come to the board, which I have to do, to set up no parking, if that's what you want to do, signs. They don't abide by it. Law enforcement tells us Goose Bay's a perfect example. Otter Street's another one. And we go to the expense, we set that up, we zone it, I measure it, the board approves it, it goes in as a no parking zone, and they still don't enforce
Yeah,
it.
but unless you have designated as no parking zones, then they won't, I mean, it can't be enforced, right, Dave?
They don't enforce it when there
It's
is no
kind of a
parking.
catch-22,
I know.
I mean,
I know, that's what I mean,
if
At least
you're.
the neighbors could call.
right.
There's two ways, and this way it's been explained to me over the last 20-some years, as far as law enforcement. If somebody calls me, calls the order to complain, I go down and see it, and I deem it, because it's within our right of way, causing a hazard and stuff, I can have the vehicle towed away.
Right.
Which means I can do that, but then I have to go law enforcement to get them to carry through.
But they won't be ticketed unless it's a designated no parking
No.
zone.
No. But on the other hand, law enforcement can't issue a ticket, maybe necessary, but they can individually have it towed away because it's causing a
They
problem.
can, if
They don't, but they can.
We got the same
I
thing.
mean, in reality, if you look at it the other way, you're going, the way they kind of explain it to you, the way they want to enforce it, we'd have to, any place we don't want any cars to park in the town right away, we'd have to put no parking signs up on 70 miles of road in the town of Alexandria. You know what I mean?
We
So
got
it's-
the same thing up in Plessis. You come from Redwood on Route 3 and you cannot see to pull up.
I mean, in the roads that we had past problems with, Goose Bay was a major one, Otter Street was another one, signs were removed within minutes, sometimes hours after we left. You know, I was threatening, and you're not law enforcement, you can't do, I mean, it put me in a predicament where I had to try to enforce. I don't think I should be put in that position.
There are certain areas of the town that are more heavily densely populated, like Dingman Point and Otter Street and
And
Goose
Goose
Bay,
Bay.
where that's where the big problem is. Sparsely populated roads, it's not that big of an issue.
It's so narrow down through here, right where these are.
I took
It's-
lumber downtown Mitchell, I couldn't hardly get in his driveway.
Yeah, that's a bad spot right
I had a
now. That's the
wagon
worst
behind my
spot.
truck, and I couldn't hardly get in his driveway.
I mean, my recommendation would be in my position, rather than spend any kind of money or anything, maybe go talk to some of these people and, you know, I can talk to law enforcement, go down and politely ask them to move them, you know, at least we aren't out anything. Because the end result, I can put 10 signs down through and I guarantee they aren't gonna abide by them, if they're even there in a couple of days. Just another thing, it's kinda gonna create a hazard, because even if we have put the no parking down there, this is so narrow, these spots right down in here, this must be almost to the end, isn't it, Dale?
Yeah.
It looks like,
Is this on the
Try to cross
Dingman?
the town,
before you get to Bresnahan's on the straightaway, before
Yeah.
you're on the curve.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
drops
Um,
off pretty good there.
Yes, Tom?
You know, we're gonna create our own obstructions, you know, because it's so narrow down there with signposts and stuff, as far as mowing and removing snow.
I don't mean to interject here, but, I've done code enforcement for over 20 years in the village back home in Johnson City, which is Binghamton. And not a lot of people know this, have your code enforcement check, the fire code 503. It addresses that specific issue about access for fire vehicles. And I think it can be enforced through the code enforcement. You can cite these people, if they're found, along with, having the police, ticket them also. So, you might wanna look into that. It's fire code 503, and I think it goes to like 511. And it specifically outlines what the requirements are for emergency vehicle access. And it kinda goes that way, so, I don't mean to interject there, it's just maybe another avenue that you can look at, research it a little bit, and maybe it has a little bit of teeth for
This,
you.
this New York State fire code?
Yes.
Problem is, we don't have a code enforcement officer.
No, we
We have a
don't.
zoning officer, and she doesn't have that authority. And, you know, and we don't, possibly a town constable could do it, but, that's the issue with that. We don't have
Right.
anybody to enforce these things.
Is it county or code enforcement?
What county is, yes. But
Why don't we refer the problem to the county then?
Building code.
that's a building code, yeah.
This is a town highway.
It's town highway,
It's not
not
the
a
fire
county.
code.
If it was a county road, I would refer it to the county, but it's a town highway road, so
Yeah.
that's all come, we're stuck with it.
They enforce the uniform building code for us, but that's it.
I mean, I don't have a problem, we could put some signs down through it, but in order to make them legal, they have to be spaced, we have to set up a
The
zone.
fire code really is part of the building.
Yeah.
It has to be approved by this
The
board.
county doesn't
I
have a
don't know if
police.
it's gonna work.
a
It
police-
hasn't in the past.
But 503 is access roads, not public road highways,
Yeah.
so.
Okay. And besides, the county is not going to come down and enforce this on a town road anyway, even if it is part of the building code.
Joe, what about, I know we've talked about this before, now, what about doing like a town-wide, no parking, you know?
You can do it, but you gotta post it.
Then you still have to post everything, even if you pass an ordinance.
I think you still gotta post it.
Because like in the wintertime, we have to do the thing where we post it, put it in the paper so many days in advance for plowing snow, that designated time. Is that just because it's temporary? We do
I think so.
we do illegal posting that as
Yeah,
a.
we could check the highway law to see what's required, but
Well, let's leave it open, we'll check the highway laws and see if we'll come back to it.
I mean, I'm willing to do whatever you do, I'm just saying past history, it hasn't, I
well,
just set
I
it up
guess
as
the
all.
question I got, has the sheriff's office been notified about the issue?
No, I haven't
Well,
notified them.
I mean, if these people are complaining to the town, has anybody called the sheriff's department? If it is an issue on weekends or during the summertime, then maybe that would be an appropriate thing to do, is to notify the sheriff's department, so if they're so inclined, they will at least maybe send some patrol cars down to take a look at it.
Okay, we'll go back to it. Okay, thanks, Joe.
If you want, I'll call Sheriff Burns tomorrow. if you want.
Okay. Okay. The next is Indian Point owners using our transfer site at the landfill. Right now, we have about 10 families. I'd just like to get it so we charge them a certain fee every year for using it to cover the cost at the landfill, plus they realize they have to pay $3 a bag up there.
I mean, we've been through this every year just about, haven't we?
Right.
We always do it, so.
Dale, one issue with that is also is we don't charge for recycling, but it costs town expense to recycle.
And they pay for the recycling,
Yeah, they
Yes,
usually
they
pay
do
for
pay for
recycling as well
recycling.
as.
Yep.
the
Yeah.
trash.
Right, as their trash.
And a fee's already been set in the past.
Well, I think the fee should be upped.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I think we've decided in the past that this is an annual issue, that if you're gonna allow it, you do it on an annual basis and establish what the fees are on an annual basis.
Do we want to charge them $75 a year to use the
I think
facility?
that's what we've been charging, ain't it?
Okay,
I'm okay with $75.
okay.
What's that, per what? That's per year?
Per year.
family?
Oh,
Per
yeah.
family?
Per year,
residence?
per taxpayer,
Yeah.
Right, $75 per year,
Yeah.
$3.
I like $100.
Ain't
How
gonna,
long has it been, 75?
ain't gonna
It's
happen.
been a while,
It's been a while.
$75, that's $750 you're gonna pull off that road,
that's right.
so I'm happy with $750.
Yeah.
Cost $60 to have them come pick a dumpster up, so I
That's
wouldn't
right.
think they'd cry over $100.
I don't think they would either.
Well, they gotta still pay to get their garbage.
I know, but that's.
But-
And the dumpster comes, he picks the garbage up, that's
Yeah,
included in the
yeah.
pay.
Let's go to 85.
I hear 100.
I had a motion on the table for 75 here.
What if?
You're offering, what you're doing is you're offering them a convenience.
You're offering them a service.
$100
10 people that
Here,
wanna
or
do it.
Or a
75.
different,
10
10
families.
people paid $75 last year?
no,
How many people paid?
we have not had them come back in, this is the problem.
This is
You
the
mean
problem.
we set it
That's
at
what-
$75 and we have nobody?
We had one person and he never renewed it, so they've been, this is what happens.
So now they're dumping for $3?
To lower the
They're not
price.
coming.
They're not coming, huh?
Well, they want to
I
now.
think they are now.
I don't think so.
Well, no, I've had reports where they have been there and they have been turned away.
Yeah, they've
So
been
that's
turned
why we
away.
gotta take care of the problem.
So if they're not coming for whatever it is now,
Probably
they
not
sure ain't gonna
gonna
come
raise
for $100.
I think they should
That
be able
solves the
to.
problem.
Think about it, they're saving gas, they say they have to make a 60-mile round trip to wherever.
Well, I'm happy with $75. I might drop it to 65 here in a minute. I make a motion, we charge $75.
All right, I'll second it, Elsa.
Motion's been made by Elsa Bodine, seconded by Doug, to charge them $75 per year for the use of the landfill.
I would just suggest you do it for 1 year.
Yeah.
That's per season, per
For
year.
one
Do
se-
it for one season.
2012.
Who's gonna do the contract?
They'll just come in here and get they gotta get something, they gotta get a sticker for their car.
Right, but they also sign a contract.
Do we have a contract?
Oh, yes, we do.
Then,
Well,
I
that
guess-
would be you.
yeah, town clerk.
I had a feeling it'd be me. Okay, you wanna go with $75.
Yeah.
$3 per bag for trash, right?
Yeah.
And what about the recyclables? We have to pay for them to get them.
We should be covering that in the
How do you,
75.
yeah.
And the recyclables, $3
That's
a
why-
bag?
No, let's cover that, let's consider the $75.
How was it handled before?
We never
They
charged.
paid for the recyclables.
Oh, yeah, but we never had anybody.
We did, we had one, and he signed for it. He paid.
So he paid $3 for like a bag.
Whatever he was charged down there, I'd have to pull the contract.
I think the $75 is,
Include the recyclables, further in the interest of the environment.
throwing it along the road.
Okay,
Do we advertise it down there or let them all know so we can give
I'll
customers from
contact,
down there?
We're to be out tomorrow, believe me.
It'll be out tomorrow.
They got an association down there, I guess.
Yes, they do, and I will contact the gentleman in the morning, I have his phone number. So we have a motion on the floor, all in favor? All opposed? Motion passed.
Who made the motion?
Elson made the motion, seconded by Doug.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, the Baptist Church would like to use the rink on July 21st and 22nd for their annual summer picnic. In the past, we've always let them use it. They in turn let us use their parking lot for the ice arena when we do the big tournaments there on the weekends in the wintertime. So I'm asking the board's favor or permission for them to go ahead and use the arena
I
for the
would
2
like-
days.
I would like to allow them to use the arena.
Sure
2
thing,
days.
Yeah.
sure thing.
Okay, thank you. And I'd like to get Joe on board with reviewing and updating our hiring policy, overtime, and job description. And this is on the,
Yeah, you sent one. It's in their bag.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And there's one in your packet that was sent to us last fall that never got to the board's table.
That was last fall, huh?
Right, yeah, so if
Wonder
we
if
could,
Nail it slow, Joe.
How soon you forget.
but if we could just kind of get that updated, it'd be nice.
Like, the last time we did that, I believe it was 98. It's been a while.
Well, no.
Might
Joe
be
had
due.
I
sent
had
one
something
down.
I proposed last
Yes.
year, but it was never
Some
acted on
changes in the
apparently.
language, the
No,
spelling
it
and
wasn't.
stuff, I think it was.
Yeah. I had, that's
Okay.
retirement.
Sounds good to me, Dale.
Okay.
Joe, we have
Right
issues with
along.
overtime policies, things like that. Any of these policies that we have that are in writing, would they have to be signed and be dated to be valid? There ought to be a resolution. before
Yeah, it needs to be adopted, board needs to adopt a resolution on it,
You know, all the stuff that we've done, I have not found anything signed or dated or
yeah.
any.
Resolution adopted then?
No.
I know the one we proposed last year was never acted on.
I'm talking about our overtime, our comp time, our 56-hour rules, all those things.
So it needs to be approved by the board.
Yeah.
I mean, the policy has one from 98 on the procedures, how they cure time and their CT time and all that, but specifically to individuals in the department. I'm not aware of any of that.
You know, once this is drawn up, everybody should be issued one and everybody should be sign off. on
What we
it.
did in the past, I know in
We
that,
didn't need one.
there's one for Dana, and there's one for Tracy, and there's one for Byron, that's just an amendment thing done, but it wasn't actually done in a specific resolution. It was a
I
break.
know from
Yeah, the
talking
general
to
fund
the-
has one.
I know
All
from
of
talking to
those-
the auditor,
Not by
we're supposed to have a resolution.
All of those things should be incorporated in the personnel policy when it's adopted. So what I'd like to get.
But we have different,
I've been too far too long.
but we have different things for different job descriptions.
And they can
different
go in
jobs.
here.
And they all go in there,
Well, it would be a good idea.
yeah.
Because it's already got language in it, but it doesn't go specifically to any department, but anybody that's basically in a non-bargaining unit. Other than elected people, it says how they cure their time. Their salaries will be set annually by the board.
Sick
at March and
time.
It's
Cetera.
like the overtime deal, when you pay the overtime, if you look at the rates.
That should all be
A couple
included.
different papers we have here, every one of them's done a little differently, so we.
Needs to be done.
I mean, what we have to follow right now until we do change is the existing policy we have.
Would you, find me whatever we got?
Whatever you gave us.
No, the current.
Make it
Oh,
all,
certainly.
98.
make them all
No
just-
problem.
Any of those little things like Brent's talking
Yeah.
about?
Surely.
Okay.
If you got fire, if you got bolt fire
That's
protection.
after the second item we do tomorrow.
Pardon?
That's after the second item we do.
You don't have to do it tomorrow because I won't be getting it done.
Sunday.
I did it.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is, we need a town resolution. The people that have bought Momart Island would like to change the name to Drinkwater Island. And those who have the show renamed as well. So I need a motion